Welcome to all of you SJEC e-learning YouTube classes. Student, please subscribe the channel to update about your syllabus.
Welcome student. Now the second part of in machine. Today we study the principle of machine, the relationship between the efficiency, MA and VR and the levers. Okay. Now we start that principle of machine. What is the principle of machine? When energy is supplied to a machine by applying the effort, it overcomes the load by doing some useful work on it. The point at which the energy is supplied to a machine by applying the effort is called the effort point. That is effort point. Easy? And the point where the energy is obtained by overcoming the load is called the load point. That is load point. Okay. So, what is the input energy and what is the output energy? Easy? Input energy. Input energy is equal to work done at the effort point. Work done at the effort point. So, what is the work done at the effort point? It is equal to effort multiply displacement of the point of application of effort. Displacement of the point of application of effort. Application of effort. That is it. Now, what is the output energy? Output energy. So, output energy is work obtained at the load point. Work obtained on the load point. So, what is the meaning of work obtained on the load point? Load into displacement of the point of application of load. That's easy. So, in idle machine, what is idle machine? In idle machine, the input energy and the output energy is equal to 0. No. In idle machine, the input energy is equal to output energy. Okay? The useful work done by a machine can never be greater than the work done on the machine. Otherwise, it will violate the principle of conservation of energy. Therefore, no machine can ever have efficiency greater than 1 or more than 100%. So, an idle machine is that in which there is no loss of energy in any manner. Here the work output is equal to the work input. So, the efficiency of idle machine is 100%. And what is the actual machine? What is the actual machine? It is in an actual machine, the output energy is always less than the input energy, indicating that there is some loss of energy during its operation. The loss in energy is mainly due to the following three reasons. What the three reasons? The first reason, the moving part in it are neither weightless nor smooth or frictionless. The other, the spring in it is not perfectly elastic. And the third, its different parts are not perfectly rigid. So, if a machine is 80% efficient, it implies that 80% of total energy supplied to the machine at the effort point is obtained as useful energy at the load point. Okay? The remaining 20% of the energy supplied is lost in overcoming the force of friction, etc. And it appears as heat energy in its different part as they get heated up.
Levers are the simplest kind of machine used in our daily life. In a simple word, a lever is a rigid, straight or bent bar which is capable of turning about a fixed axis. Fulcrum. The axis about which the lever turns passes through a point of the lever which is called the fulcrum, and it is generally marked by the letter F. Okay? The second topic is principle of lever. What is the principle of lever? The principle of lever is a lever work on the principle of movement. That's right. A lever work on principle of movement, according to which in the equilibrium position of lever, movement of load about the fulcrum must be equal to the movement of effort about the fulcrum, and the two movements must always be in opposite direction. So, according to this, clockwise movement of force is equal to anti-clockwise movement of force. That's okay. So, MA is equal to the effort arm upon load arm. We know that. Then, the mechanical advantage of a lever is equal to the ratio of the length of its effort arm to the length of its load arm. When effort arm is equal to load arm, then MA is equal to 1. If effort arm is greater than the load arm, then MA is greater than 1. And if effort arm is less than load arm, then MA is less than 1. Now, the kinds of lever. Depending upon the relative position of the effort, load and fulcrum, there are following three types of lever: class 1 lever, class 2 lever and class 3 lever. So, firstly, class 1 lever. In this type of lever, the fulcrum is in the between the effort and the load. That is shown in figure. Fulcrum need not be the midpoint between the load and the effort, but both the load and effort are in the same direction. And the second class lever, the fulcrum and the effort are the two ends of the lever, and the load is somewhere in between the effort and fulcrum. That is shown in figure. That's right. So, in this way, the load and effort are in opposite direction, and effort arm is always longer than the load arm. That's why MA is always greater than 1. In class 3 lever, the fulcrum and the load are at the two ends of the lever, and the effort is somewhere in between the fulcrum and the load. The effort and load are in the opposite direction, and effort arm is always smaller than the load arm. That's why MA is always less than the 1. Okay. So, firstly, class 1 lever examples. In class 1 lever, plier, crowbar, shear, scissor, seesaw, so many other examples are there. Firstly, I show that in plier, load in one end, effort in other end, and fulcrum is in between. And when fulcrum is between the load and effort, that is the class 1 lever. In second, the scissor. You seen that the fulcrum is between the load and effort. So that is the first class lever. And in shear and seesaw, you also see that the fulcrum is between the load and effort. That's why it is the class 1 lever. Okay, in class 1 lever, MA is less than 1, equal to 1 and greater than 1. All conditions are applicable for this. Okay, and one other point, that this one, rowing a boat with a long handle oar. In this way, you see that effort and load are in one end and fulcrum is in between. So that's why this is also a first class lever example. A long handle oar used for rowing a boat by a single person act as a lever of class 1. The point at edge of the boat at which the handle rests act as the fulcrum, and the boatman apply the effort at its one end by keeping the effort arm shorter than the load arm, so as to give a large movement to the blade of the oar to push water back through a longer distance. The force of reaction exerted by water on the boat moves the boat forward. Its mechanical advantage is less than 1. That's easy. In second class lever example, in second class lever, bottle opener, nut cracker, bar to lift load, wheelbarrow. In second class lever, that always work as a force multiplier. Force multiplier, why it is force multiplier? Because its MA is always greater than 1, because effort arm is greater than the load arm. Okay, in nutcracker you see that fulcrum is one end, load is in between, and effort is in one end. So load arm is load arm is less than the effort arm. In nutcracker, fulcrum is one end, load is in between, effort is in one end. Then effort arm is greater than the load arm. That is in wheelbarrow. Fulcrum is one end, effort is in last end, and load is between. Then effort arm is greater than the load arm. So MA is greater than 1, and that is a force multiplier. Okay. In class 3 lever, in this type of lever, effort arm is always smaller than the load arm. Then MA is less than 1. And if MA is less than 1, that acts as a speed multiplier or gain in speed. Okay. The example for this is food pedal, sugar tong, knife, and spade lifting a load. So you see that in a knife, load is one end, effort is between, and fulcrum is last end. Means load arm is greater than the effort arm. And if load arm is greater than the effort arm, then MA is less than 1. And MA is less than 1, then is a gain in speed. In our human body, the examples of each class of levers is found in our human body. So I see in human body, class 1 lever in the action of nodding of head. I show in figure this one. When we nodded our head, the spines act as the fulcrum. Load L is at its front part, while effort E as its rear part. Thus, this is an example of class 1 lever. In class 2 lever, in raising the weight of the body on toes. In toes, the weight of the body is raised on toes. The fulcrum is at toes at one end, and the load L is in the middle and effort E by muscles is at the other end. Yes, this is the example of class 2 lever because load is in between the fulcrum and effort. In class 3 lever, in raising a load by forearm, the action of biceps, the elbow joint act as a fulcrum F at one end, biceps exert the effort E in the middle and load L on the palm is at the other end. So, this is the example of class 3 lever. Okay, because effort is between the fulcrum and load.